how to do them. That's okay. Just keep studying. Just keep reading. Learn Hebrew so that you can apply the letters that spell the words in Hebrew are the very instructions. I believe that if we learn Hebrew, its benefit is that we then, as we study the words of the instructions, it gives us insight as to what his heart is, because each letter is actually one of the seeds that make up the fruit of what he bears. And so as we eat his fruit, we are reading his words, we are comprehending his DNA. And then the next letter, Zadi, is this sprout which speaks of restoration, resurrection, which is to say a rekindling of life, not only as a promise for eternal life after we leave this mortal sphere or plane or this time, but actually while we're here, there's the promise of regeneration, restoration, which is to say, there's a verse that says, I would have pulled you back if you were at the brink of death. You were right at the edge, following, I can't recover it, and he'll pull us back. But he says, because you won't listen to me, not only will I not pull you back, but I'm going to shove you in. I'm going to be your death. Just because you won't listen to my words. So here's the other side of this promise. If we listen to his words, it will save us, and he will make it so, causing it to flourish. But if we don't listen, not only will we slip and fall, he's going to shove us and make us slip and fall. So not only is there a mechanical apparatus, mechanical device, a certain built-in cause and effect as in engineered physics, but he's then going to, by his own hands, his own will, shove it or pull it and make it happen. He says, I think it's Isaiah 20, if Israel, if you guys would have just grabbed a hold of my moose, my moose, my moosey, bet mem ayin vav zayin yod. It sounds like moose, but it's my strength, my fortitude, my provisions of refuge. Everything I said would have happened. And I would have made sure it happened. That's the two voices. But it doesn't read like that in English. You have this emblem on your shirt. I recognize that as the Superman logo. But interestingly enough, the word super in Hebrew is samek vav pei resh, which is the word sofer, which is the word for scribe. It's where we get the word super, soprano, supreme, which is the highest and best. It's one who knows how to read and write. It's one who's literate. And what you realize is that the only way to grab a hold of what Yahweh said is to read what he said in Hebrew as a sofer man. Because otherwise, all you can hear is the lies, the noise of these chainsaws and other. We're surrounded by noises. Hear those birds? The still small voice? Only sofer man can hear the still small voice.
Yes.
Like Elijah. It's not in those loud engine noises that we hear from the doctrines of the various churches and cults. Learn Hebrew. It's all right there. The gospel is the message of true reality where we can choose to live, and we will live, because not only does the system work, he will ensure that it works and make it so.
Yeah, it just makes sense that, Yah told Adam to, shamar the garden, tend to it. And when the Nahash, with his enchanting, if he would have remembered, by doing what the command says, like, I'm going to guard the garden, I'm going to tend to the grass and do the other things, it's like, and he says not to eat from this tree, and this thing contrary to me, by what Yah says, by him saying contrary to Yah, and then by doing the things that Yah told him to do, he would have seen, hey, this isn't right.
If he would have just done what Yahweh said, the lies of the false voice would have become apparent.
Yeah.
But instead of listening to the commands, taking heed to the commands, the bedazzlement, the enchantment, the allure of the false voice brought this change, and instead of going by hearing the voice, he went by what he saw. It looks good. It looks like it must taste good. And isn't it beautiful? And after all, we should be able to be raised in stature to like Elohim, knowing good from evil, so it's reasonably good. But what his voice said was, what Yahweh's voice said was, don't eat it. So there's something about Sofer is not just knowing how to read and write, but comprehending, to listen, to hearken, to hear, and then believe, take it as true, and then conduct your life accordingly. So again, going back to this pattern, choose life, hear his instructions, take it to heart, do what he said, and as you're doing what he said and you're bearing fruit, look at the fruit to make sure that it's got his seed in it, and then share that fruit with the generation around you as you encourage each other, as you share life with each other, and know that this hope set before you is restoration and regeneration, both now and for eternity.
I think that's good news.
I'd say that's pretty good news.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, guys.